Two Drink Cinema! Cheers. 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 Did you see the end of the last episode of No Pants, No Problems had a cheers?
I did.
Yeah.
We actually got mentioned a fair bit in that one, which is
I'm
good.
trying really hard on some cross-promotion. Anyway, this is Two Drink Cinema.
This is not No Pants, No Problems.
It's not No Pants, No Problems.
Because I have a lot of problems.
But I don't have pants. Thank you for joining us again on another episode of Two Drink Cinema. Brett's got his click pen.
I got my clicky
ready.
pen.
I've got no click pen because we know what I'm like with click pens. Hello, brother.
Hi, how's it going?
Yes.
He's
good.
going. You know clicky pens, right?
Yes.
Every time I think clicky pens, it reminds me of an episode of Scrubs
Okay.
where somebody's ordering stationery.
Yep.
And this whole argument about, do you like clicky tops or twisty bottoms?
Oh, twisty ones are shit.
Twisty ones are shit because when I write, I don't know if I write twisty,
Yeah.
but it untwists.
Click is more satisfying as well.
Yeah, that's why the greatest pen ever was the 4-pen.
4-pen.
Because there's 4 clicks.
That's all I use unless I don't want to click into my microphone.
You know what else was Click? A movie with Adam Sandler.
It's not what we're talking about this week.
Thank God, because I haven't watched it.
We're not going to... Oh, we might get to some Adam Sandler movies. Auntie Jenny, who is one of our regular listeners, has suggested that we watch The Ridiculous Six.
Mm-hmm.
Our middle brother has suggested that we watch The Conjuring 4. I haven't seen The Conjuring 1, 2, 3.
No, I haven't seen Conjurings 1 through 3.
Also, do we really want to do a comedy podcast about horror movies?
It could be a funny horror movie. Like, it's some horror... I'm not a fan of horror movies.
Yep.
Not because they scare me, but because they don't scare me.
I've also just remembered what I'm going to suggest to you next time I win a trivia.
Oh.
Okay.
So sometime in the not too distant future.
Because that is where we will spend the rest of our lives.
We do have a lot of flashbacks to Plan 9, don't we?
Because it's one of the best. It's one of our favourites. So if you haven't... That's a YouTube exclusive. Plan
That
9
is YouTube
from outer space.
exclusive.
So if you haven't checked out our YouTube channel, then head over to our Two Drink Cinema on YouTube and make sure you do that. If you haven't subscribed to us on whatever podcast platform you're listening to, we had a business meeting before this recording. So that means I've had one extra drink because I was here for a little bit longer before our recording. So
welcome to this episode of Three Drink Cinema.
Three Drink Cinema. We'll call it Three Drink Cinema when we have a guest.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I never thought that there were 2 of us and it's Two Drink Cinema.
Yeah, no, that's not the reason it's called Two Drink Cinema. The reason is because it sounds like 2 drink minimum.
Yeah.
But there is also 2 of us.
Yes.
In our promo, we say there's 2 of us. We have 2 drinks.
Yeah.
So we're
4
drink
drinks.
cinema. Sometimes we're 4 drink cinema. You'd guess by my ability to speak.
Sometimes when you get later in episodes, it gets,
Yep. This week, we are talking about Space Jam.
The original.
The 1996 Joe Pytka movie. I didn't look up Joe Pytka.
I didn't either, but I knew things.
Can now.
Joe Pytka, I think, if I'm correct in saying this, is like a what do you call it?
A director.
Like a commercials. He did like commercials and stuff.
Well, this is really just one big commercial for Michael Jordan's comeback.
Well, that's why they were like, because he did a lot of the commercials with Michael Jackson.
Michael Jordan.
Yeah. Probably did Michael Jackson as well. He was apparently like the biggest. He's like the Steven Spielberg of Super Bowl ads.
So do you think maybe that it was like Michael Jordan's like, I want that guy to direct it?
I don't know if Michael Jordan he had a choice. He's Michael fucking Jordan.
It's his movie.
Because apparently There was an ad earlier on, which was an ad with Michael Jordan and Bugs Bunny. An ad for Air Jordans.
Ah.
Yeah, so that was where
it does seem when they do kidnap Michael Jordan already knows Bugs Bunny.
No, but he knows Bugs Bunny.
Yeah, but it seems like they have a bit of banter.
Like
they've
just
met
kiss him
before.
on the lips as soon as they meet.
Exactly. Very forward.
Consent.
Hashtag me too. We open with R. Kelly.
I believe I can die.
Which we won't go into because R. Kelly is problematic.
It's a good song, and that's all we're going to say.
It's a good song, despite R. Kelly might not be a good bloke.
It doesn't really fit the movie. Like, yeah, it's like 90s R&B, and it's about flying.
Yep.
And Michael Jordan can fly.
Yes.
But it's not like the same vibe as the movie.
Yeah, which is why it's just a little intro and then the credits.
Yeah. Like, I get how the Quincy, what's his name? Barry White, classic Basketball Jones is in the movie, which we'll get to later because that was confusing, which is probably the bit of the movie I remember the least.
So we'll get to the other part of the movie that I remember the least shortly. But
is it from the beginning to the end? Is it Bill Murray in general?
No, I remembered that Bill Murray was in it, but I didn't know to what extent. So this is a movie, like we've rewatched a few nostalgic ones now. And unlike Mrs. Doubtfire that I've watched a few times over my life, I reckon it's actually been at least 10 years since I watched Space Jam.
Yeah.
And I've probably only watched it 3 times.
Right.
Like the other movie that had a famous basketballer in it, Shaq was in Shazam. Do you reckon you've watched that more than once?
No.
No. That's not going to be our next nostalgic review.
This is the greatest basketball movie, though. It's the highest grossing basketball movie ever made.
Really?
Yeah.
And it does tick a few boxes of sporting movies, but it doesn't have, and it's come up later in my notes, it doesn't have a training montage.
No. Because
which is disappointing.
That was the weird thing. It was like, oh, now they can play basketball. So we're not going to cover them. They went from a bunch of cartoon characters that had never played basketball before, so they chose to play basketball for their lives.
Well, because they're little shorties, the aliens, from Moron Mountain.
Which is another... What? Moron Mountain, really?
Could have done better.
I don't know what that... Who is that joke for?
Is it a Looney Tunes thing?
I don't know. I don't think so. Because if you were going to be Looney Tunes and make it that aliens were doing something, wouldn't you just make it Marvin the Martian?
Yeah. But Marvin the Martian then cleverly is the referee because he's impartial.
Yeah, he's impartial
between
he's loony
aliens,
and aliens.
But he's not Earth. He's not an Earth tune. I found it very interesting that Wayne Knight got third billing.
Yes, right after Bugs Bunny.
Yeah. So when Michael Jordan, Bugs Bunny... Not Daffy Duck.
Not Daffy Duck, not Lola Bunny.
Not Danny DeVito.
Not Danny DeVito.
Who doesn't get any billing at the start.
No.
Then Wayne Knight.
Yeah.
So it goes the greatest basketballer of all time, the greatest animated rabbit of all time, Newman from Seinfeld.
Roger Rabbit is really offended.
He shouldn't be.
I don't know any other...
Peter Rabbit.
Peter Rabbit.
Voiced by, is that Ewan McGregor? Who voices him in the new movies? Or is Ewan McGregor a human in it?
I don't think Ewan McGregor's in it at all. I don't know. Anyway, wrong rabbit.
Bugs Bunny is the most famous...
He is the most famous
animated
rabbit
of all time.
It's also a very niche market.
There's not a lot of competition.
It's like saying Mickey Mouse is the most famous animated mouse.
And Wayne Knight is the most famous... sitcom postman of all time.
Wasn't there? No, there was somebody in an old one, like the Honeymooners or some shit.
The guy at the end
the
of
Brady Bunch or
the
something.
guy at the end of Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah, him.
No, you're thinking from the Brady Bunch, Sam the Butcher,
Maybe
who
that's
marries
what I'm
Alice
thinking
the
of.
housekeeper.
Yeah.
But Wayne Knight gets an incredibly large billing, considering the only other movie I could tell you, 2 movies I could tell you, has been in a Jurassic Park and JFK. But then
Toy Story 2.
we actually only
Oh, that's after this.
recognised the voice of Danny DeVito and then had to look him up.
Yeah.
Like he
I was
doesn't
is
even
that
get
Danny DeVito?
mentioned at the start of the movie.
No. Maybe it's meant to be a surprise for the kids. Is that Danny DeVito, they say? Is that the penguin?
It sounds like the penguin.
I have to say.
But also you can't not credit him because as soon as he spoke, he voices the head of Moron Mountain for those that haven't watched but should have watched.
The mean alien. And he kind of just looks like Danny DeVito.
They just drew him to be Danny DeVito. But you can't not know it's him.
No.
Because it's
Danny DeVito. He doesn't put on voices. He just talks like Danny DeVito.
He is just Danny DeVito.
It's like we were saying about Michael Caine once. Michael Caine just always talks like Michael Caine.
Yeah. That's just who he is.
I'll save the listeners from another bad impression.
We watched this together.
We did. And we were trying not to talk to each other. No, right, just write it down and save it. Just write it down and save it.
A few times we went, no. We could have had it like a dress rehearsal for tonight.
We could have.
But that's too much planning.
No, we're not.
Not what
we're
we
not
do.
that good.
You and I watched it for the purposes of this podcast. Mm-hmm. Shane, my husband, watched it to see the highlights package of Michael Jordan at the start of the film.
After 5 minutes in, it was done.
Yep.
And go, he actually went to... I know he went to... I watched The Last Dance too. I get the in-jokes about his dad being dead. Like, it's weird. That's when it becomes weirder now.
Because his dad's dead.
Because watching The Last Dance, when I was a kid and was watching it, and he goes, I'm going to go play baseball because my dad liked baseball.
Because I said once to my dad I was going to play baseball.
Yeah, he goes... And then I'm like, that's stupid, Michael Jordan.
Oh, but now you know that it's because
like,
his dad's
his
dead.
dad got murdered. Oh.
Yep. And his dad, not real actor dad, is at the start of the movie. But you said at the start of the movie there were so many. The highlights package of Michael Jordan's basketball was so
stupid.
long, but it really is. It's a Michael Jordan.
It's a Michael Jordan movie.
It's a Michael Jordan movie. So you had to really set up for the audience that he was really good at basketball. So when he's really bad at acting,
yes,
you're like, oh, okay, it's okay. It's okay that he can't say a very simple line with any conviction because he's the greatest basketballer of all time.
And when you look at it and you go, oh, he does think highly of himself. That's why it's really hard and not believable for him to play humble.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not a basketballer. I'm like, shut up, Michael Jordan.
Yeah, you
would not say that in real life. You'd just be like, shut up, alien.
Shut up, alien. I'm the best. I'm the GOAT.
I'm the GOAT. I will wager you for it and then lose all my money on gambling addiction.
GOAT wasn't a thing in the 90s, though.
The animal was.
Yeah.
But the term GOAT wasn't.
The term GOAT, that's a new thing.
Yeah.
Goat.
Now there's too many goats.
Yeah. Like the guy I used to work with who called LeBron GOAT 2.
That's not a thing.
That's not how it works.
It's second greatest of all time.
Yeah. It's 2 GOAT.
Yeah.
Or T GOAT, would you do?
To goat.
Would you do number 2 GOAT or T for
number 2
or S for
goat.
second?
Number 2 goat.
Number 2 GOAT. Okay. So LeBron, star of Space Jam: A New Legacy,
is 2 goat.
is 2 GOAT.
I don't know. Basketball's not my thing.
Yeah.
I can't comment on who the greatest basketball player is because I've not really watched any basketball. I would say it's Andrew Gaze. I don't know.
He's the greatest Australian basketballer that's played in Australia.
Yeah. Everybody else that was better went to the
over.
NBA.
Yeah.
Like Luke Longley.
Including Ben Simmons, who's decided not to be in the Olympics. I need to write better notes. I've written stupid fans at baseball. I don't know if that's a comment on the movie or just a comment about life.
Well, the other thing that was stupid about the baseball thing is when all his teammates were like, oh, that's okay. You looked good when you struck out.
Yeah, yeah. My strikeouts look ugly. At least yours look good.
Yeah. Maybe that's what you were saying. Maybe I don't know. I didn't write on the fans. I just wrote on the bad security. Because Wayne Knight just
into the dugout.
goes into the dugout.
Yep.
Hi, Mr. Jordan.
But then we get the transition from the Earth to the Moron Mountain, which is a very good transition.
From the
I think one thing that goes throughout the movie is the transition from real life to cartoon
Yep.
is very good.
Yeah.
And even the imposition,
Of both of them at the same
and
time.
people who've watched our big business episode will understand how superimposing
Super
works.
imposing and imposing.
Yep. The imposition of Michael into the toon world
Yes.
and vice versa
Yeah.
is done very well.
It's done better than Michael's dog. So Michael's dog looks fake. There's one point where Michael comes home and then the dog jumps on him, and it clearly looks like somebody just threw
A stuffed
a
dog.
stuffed dog on him.
Yep. And then his dog, Charles
Barkley. Ooh.
Has another special effects error. Later, when Daffy and Bugs break into Michael Jordan's house, and when they first see the dog's this big, little for the podcast listeners.
Like an orange.
And then
or a grapefruit.
when they see the dog's head later in the closet, it's huge.
It's like
a watermelon. That's a special effect fail. In that scene, I was more convinced that Bugs Bunny was really in that room than the dog.
The dog. Oh, the poor dog. Poor Charles Barkley.
So we go to Moron Mountain and we get Danny DeVito in with uncredited Danny DeVito.
Playing Danny DeVito.
Playing Danny DeVito in charge of a bunch of aliens on a theme park.
Theme park on Moron Mountain.
Yeah.
Wait, is Moron Mountain the theme park's name?
Yes.
Okay.
Like Magic Mountain.
What's the planet?
I think it's on an asteroid.
Oh.
Because they didn't go all the way to Mars.
Oh, so there's alien kid at the start where he goes, "This is boring, alien dad."
Yep.
They flew there from their planet onto an asteroid.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I'm going to go with.
Yeah, so Moron Mountain, run by Danny DeVito, badly run, obviously, by Danny DeVito. They're going broke.
Yep.
And they're shit house. So they decide to
It's like Wobby's World.
come down to Earth and steal the Looney Tunes.
They need an attraction that's going to get people. So their only option, apparently, is to steal the Looney Tunes and kidnap them as slaves.
Yeah. So they plan to do that. And so Danny DeVito sends the little tiny aliens, the cute voiced one, the weird voiced one, the intimidating one, and the stoner one.
I don't know. The stoner alien for me was a weird choice.
I think this predates Shrek and Pixar.
That's correct.
Right? So
yeah.
well, the deep into the
Okay, yeah.
the impact that Pixar had. This predates that. I think it was an attempt to put in jokes for the parents.
Okay.
Rather than like Shrek and the Toy Stories and the Pixar ones as we go along.
Right. Yeah,
wrote a script that works for both. Whereas I think Space Jam is a little bit more a kid's movie.
Yes.
And then the adults can go, "Oh, I've been stoned."
Yo, dude, let's go get Michael Jordan.
Yeah. "Oh, I've been stoned." And that's how funny it is.
Don't move a metal. That's the last. That's not the last impression I'm going to do. That little alien is so cute. I remember when I was a kid, I was like, "Oh, that little alien." I just thought he was cute.
The actual adult jokes, not adult, inverted comma.
Jokes for adults.
Jokes for the parents are all from Bill Murray, who is credited as himself, but he's also just Bill Murray.
He's just Peter Venkman.
Yeah.
Is that his character? Is that the right character?
No, Venkman, I think, is
that
Harold
Dan Aykroyd?
Ramis.
Oh.
Anyway.
There is that joke later on to go, "Hey, it's Dan Aykroyd," when he comes up. I thought that was
I didn't know
funny.
Dan Aykroyd was in this feature. How did you go with the breaking of the fourth wall so often?
I get it. When it's a kid's thing and it's Bugs Bunny, I get it because he would do that in a Looney Tunes show.
Well, you didn't accept that when I said Deadpool did that in the comics.
Yeah, well, you can't break a fourth wall of a comic.
You can, and Deadpool did.
Right. So,
but it's a third
this
wall.
was also very meta.
Because it's 2D.
Actually, Space Jam was meta.
Comics 2D, so he's breaking the third wall.
Well, I'm fine with 3 walls. Where's the first wall?
Can you get your fridge serviced?
That's just started doing that now.
Oh, dear. We'll see how that goes across the course of the night. If this cuts out, it's because
the fridge exploded.
Fridge has
Let's just keep talking so you can't hear the fridge.
To the apartment block.
That's really distracting. I'm concerned now.
It is meta.
It is meta. It's a documentary, essentially.
Yeah. And it's good, though.
Shouldn't we just take...
Well, what do you need? What do you need to do about your fridge?
I don't know. It stopped doing it before.
Okay, we're going to have a break. So Brett has stopped the noise of the fridge. We're slightly less worried.
Yeah.
But we'll be fine. So you mentioned during the break Tweety Bird.
I did. I used to have a Tweety Bird toy that I got from a Melbourne show bag.
Is he your favourite Looney Tune?
Yes.
Even though you weren't sure of his gender.
Well, I don't know.
Hashtag problematic.
I think at the time of being a child, I didn't know or care
about gender
of what gender Tweety was.
You still don't know and care about gender?
No.
Yeah, 'cause it's 2021.
He's a social construct.
Yep.
So, but then at the same time, I thought, then watching it now and going, I'm like, oh, Tweety's a girl. But then Tweety's not a girl, apparently.
No.
I was like, does Tweety need a gender? It's a bird.
Birds do have genders.
Well,
no,
obviously.
birds have sexes.
Yeah.
So that they can mate and procreate. Yeah. I don't know if birds have genders. Maybe Tweety is non-binary.
Maybe.
But male in the sex part.
Yeah. They're a bird, so it doesn't really matter.
Tweety's a bird. And your favourite? My favourite was always Tassie Devil.
Which is very patriotic of you.
And not problematic. Except for the destruction.
Yeah.
So there are a couple of problematic
Looney
Tunes, though. One of them is Pepe Le Pew.
Pepe the Rapist.
Hashtag consent. Hashtag
Rohypnol.
My milkshake brings the skunks to the yard.
That's a smelly milkshake.
So I don't think I've seen any Pepe Le Pew in the trailers for Space Jam: A New Legacy.
I don't think that Pepe Le Pew will make an appearance.
The other one, which at a time was mentioned about potentially being problematic, was Foghorn Leghorn.
I see. Why? Because it talks like this.
Well,
that was bad. Ding, ring your bell, take a drink, bad impression.
That's
done.
Actually better than some of your others.
Yep.
I don't necessarily agree with the problematicness of Foghorn Leghorn. I think it came up because the South was problematic for a while.
Yeah, well, it has been for a very long time.
But like anything to do with the South, like the Dixie Chicks changed their name to the Chicks.
Yes.
And you can't get a Dixie ice cream anymore.
Oh.
I think you can.
It's just called different.
And so I think and they pushed all the statues into the river.
Yeah, like
of the old Confederate generals.
Yeah.
And I think as much as Foghorn Leghorn potentially sounds like a Confederate general, he doesn't have a slave.
No.
So he's probably not so problematic.
I think, no. People talk like that.
Yeah.
That's like saying Speedy Gonzales.
Blanche Devereaux's dad in The Golden Girls speaks like that, but he hasn't been cancelled.
No, they didn't have slaves, though.
Yeah.
In The Golden Girls.
There was one really bad joke, an episode I watched recently, where Betty White, whose name I've forgotten.
Rose Nyland. Yeah.
Rose lost Blanche's bracelet.
Mm-hmm.
So offers instead to be her Flugenhagen.
Oh, no.
Which did her bidding for a week.
Okay.
And so the bad joke came towards the end of the episode when she'd been her Flugenhagen for a week and was essentially her slave.
Yeah.
And then Blanche said, if we'd had Flugenhagens in the south, maybe we wouldn't have had that pesky war.
Oh.
Implying that if white people had done the work for us, we wouldn't have had the war about the black slaves.
Blanche, you dirty slut.
So, as much as we're okay with Blanche being a sex-positive senior, we're not so okay with her having slaves.
Her family history is questionable.
Yes. Just like Foghorn Leghorn's family history may be questionable, but I don't think Foghorn Leghorn as a character is problematic. But he's the character on the team that you should just set up like the chief from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah.
Just sit him at the basket because he's the tallest.
Yeah.
And you just put him there on the rare occasion that Michael Jordan doesn't make a slam dunk.
Yes. And if Michael Jordan doesn't, then Lola Bunny does, which is also, if we're saying problematic.
Problematic, yes. Sexy Lola.
You know what? I didn't know that Lola Bunny was just made up for Space Jam.
I didn't, but it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. So they were all like, we need a girl.
We need a Jessica Rabbit,
because
is what they're saying.
There's 3 women in the Looney Tune land.
And one's Granny.
One's Granny and one's a witch. And the other might be Tweety. I'm still not sure. I'm not convinced. No, and one's Pepe Le Pew's cat.
Okay,
The skunk that's... The cat that looks like a skunk.
One's an old lady.
One's an old lady.
One's a witch.
Yeah.
And one's a victim.
Yes.
So
We can argue that the Granny's a victim. Her bird keeps getting eaten.
Well, the bird's the victim.
Tweety. Yeah.
Yeah. But Granny's not a victim. Granny will have been...
She's been robbed.
Had some psychological damage
Wait,
by the
is
fact
Sylvester Granny's cat as well?
that every 3 weeks her pet gets eaten.
That's true. For 20 minutes.
Because,
they made Lola Bunny...
what gender is Roadrunner?
I don't know. It doesn't make an
Doesn't
appearance.
need one. Yeah, Roadrunner is just at the start. When Porky Pig's come around, we're going to pause this cartoon when Michael Jordan's kids are watching it. And the cartoon actually just stops.
Yeah, and Wile E. Coyote, and that's it.
Yeah.
Whereas you would think that Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner, in terms of status of Looney Tune hierarchy,
Yeah.
are pretty popular.
Yeah. I would have Bugs, Daffy, Sylvester, Tweety, Roadrunner, Wile E. Coyote, Elmer Fudd, Porky Pig, Tassie Devil.
Yosemite Sam.
Yosemite Sam. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Plus Michael Jordan, that's 11. That's well enough for a basketball team. Plus Granny as the cheer squad.
That's the cheer squad, yeah.
Plus Bill Murray, plus Newman.
That's plenty. That's almost too much. Considering the aliens don't have a bench.
Yeah, it's just the 5 of them.
Yeah.
But they're super magicked up.
So they steal the powers from the 5 players, one of or 2 of which I've heard of before. You get it becoming purple invisible goo.
Yes.
That then goes into
Alex
their
Mack
noses.
style. Yep.
Or like the Sky High episode.
Yep.
Maybe
that's where they got it from.
Maybe. Then it goes into they need this ball. Then they go into the powers from the players into them into the ball. So that's just their talent.
They collect the talent
in the magical basketball.
And then they infect themselves with the talent and become super big and less cute.
Yeah, so they don't just take their talent. They then also don't take their height. Then they're even taller than the actual players.
Yeah, because all that talent of the 2 through 6 best basketballers of the 90s.
Not even, I don't think.
They just were the 5 best that were on the court that the guys went to.
They're just the 5 that said yes. Dennis Rodman could have easily been one of them.
Yeah, and Scottie Pippen.
Yeah.
Probably 3 of the best basketballers of the 90s were playing in that Chicago Bulls team.
Yeah.
Shane will be able to tell me.
That's what Last Dance told me.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan was great. Scottie Pippen was better, but nobody liked him. And Dennis Rodman was a crazy person.
But also great.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Luke Longley was also there, but not in the documentary.
No. He didn't want any money from it. Anyway.
I've just found another problematic moment.
Uh-oh.
When Michael Jordan goes home for dinner, I'll give anybody listening 2 guesses what they eat.
Oh, I thought that too. I'm going to go, okay. I think one thing that the African-American family is going to eat is going to be chicken.
Correct.
Is it chicken? Okay.
What would you have on the side of your chicken if you were an African-American family?
Because I'm a white man writing a movie with African-American characters, I think that I'm going to say collard greens.
Correct.
Oh, and then watermelon for dessert.
That also brings up another question that you could easily have had Michael Jordan's real family. Like they're in 2 scenes.
Except his dad.
No, but like his real wife and kids.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Did he have that many kids?
I think he's 3.
Right.
You're obviously not too worried about actors. You've cast 6 basketball players in a movie, including the lead.
Yeah.
They're in 2 scenes. Just have his real family.
Yeah.
Like, because the kids aren't that great actors that they got to play Michael Jordan's kids.
No, they don't really do that much anyway, like you were saying.
No, they just get the bag with the gear in it at the end. What I love
but
about...
then don't freak out. They're at home, right? And then the kids wake up in the middle of the night, or one girl, and then because Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck are in their house. And they just wake me like, oh yeah, here's his shorts. That's all?
Yeah.
They freak out that there's an animated rabbit in your house.
They ask why after they give him the shorts.
But then they go, we've kidnapped your dad. Oh, no, that's fine. Here, go. Yeah, take him. That's fine.
No, because kids trust cartoon characters.
Don't tell your mum. Future therapy.
Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah.
Kids trust cartoon characters.
And they have no reason at that age to think that they're not real.
They are real, though.
Like, if I was that age and Aggro popped up in my kitchen, I'd be like, hey, Aggro, how's it going? What do you want? Oh, yeah, here's $20.
And then Mum and Dad would freak out when Jamie Dunn, the guy with his hand up aggro, was behind the kitchen bench.
Problematic in itself.
Yes.
Anyway.
We've ticked off the problematicness
I have a question.
of this movie. The Looney Tunes theme is a great piece of music. And even overture curtain lights.
What happened to the frog?
Makes me think of Seinfeld. In Seinfeld, they go to the opera.
Yes.
Right? They go to see, and then Elaine, who's the classy one, says, we got to go in, the overture's about to start. And then Jen Gary goes, overture. And Elaine's
got the Pez?
Is everything a joke to you? No, the Pez is when George is dating the concert pianist.
Oh, right, okay.
And he puts the Pez on Elaine's lap and Elaine laughs. The opera is they go to see
Joe Davola.
The one about the sad clown.
Yeah.
What's it called?
Rigoletto. No.
Rigoletto.
Puccini.
Rigoletto is from Some Like It Hot.
Rigatoni.
Rigoletto's.
Oh.
The restaurant or whatever.
Puccini's.
Puccini mushrooms. You love mushrooms.
No, Puccini's.
Puccini wrote
The opera about the sad clown.
opera about the sad clown.
Now it's annoying, even though this has nothing to do with...
I'll sing over the thinking
Space
music.
Jam.
Overture, curtain
I'm just going to
lights.
Google...
This is it. We'll hit the
sad
heights.
clown opera.
And oh, what heights
Oh,
we'll
I didn't spell that, but that'll
hit.
correct.
Oh,
Pagliacci.
Pagliacci.
Crazy Joe Davola. All right, so in our next podcast, which is the rewatch of Seinfeld...
After our ruining of Friends.
I have questions about the universe and the constructs of this whole movie.
Okay.
Constructs isn't a word. Anyway.
The universe in general or the universe in this movie?
In this movie.
Okay.
Because they're completely different.
Because I'm totally not qualified to answer any questions about the universe in general.
All right, so we have a caller. No, we don't have a caller. It is not
Bling,
Stephen.
bling.
Oh, is he dead?
No.
It's Neil deGrasse Tyson is going to come on. Anyway, so you're in the Earth. You're at the real, let's call it the real world, the Michael Jordan real world.
Yep.
Then of that real world, there is space.
Yep, above.
which is where the aliens Moron
Mountain is.
right?
Yes.
So then under Earth
Yes.
is
Looney
Tuneland.
Tune Land.
Looney Tuneland, right?
Yep.
Which
That
has its own blue sky.
And has its own space.
Yeah. Because
I don't-
Marvin the Martian is Looney Tune space.
I don't think you really go underground. I think
you do.
It's into a parallel universe.
Oh, through the 18th hole.
Yeah.
The T and just whoop.
Yep. I was going to make a very
very
obscure
weird.
reference to that German Netflix series Dark, but you won't
Okay.
get it,
No.
and neither will most of our listeners.
I think if you made that joke that I would be in the dark. Hey,
Do yourself a favour.
Do yourself a favour.
Watch the series Dark, but be switched on, and you might need to write notes.
Yeah.
So
So
it's very good.
Tuneland is underground where there's clear blue sky, 3 women, and no speech pathologists.
I think it's a parallel universe with no speech pathologists.
because half, which I've never noticed. I've never noticed about Looney Tunes before, but the majority of them have speech impediments.
I wonder if our friends, the speech pathologists, can watch Looney Tunes without.
And just go, no, that's a cleft palate. I don't know. Is that a thing?
So what do we got? Sylvester.
Sylvester
who
has
spits all over the screen.
Yeah. Daffy Duck has the same thing.
Daffy Duck.
Elmer Fudd. No, Porky Pig
Porky
stutters.
Pig. Well,
Elmer Fudd.
That's
dog,
another.
that is.
That's another point. Elmer Fudd and Porky Pig look exactly the
Yeah,
same.
except or just change the nose. Yeah, okay.
Just change the nose and give Elmer Fudd occasionally a hat.
Yeah. Somebody then there's Fog. No, somebody doesn't talk properly with their L's and R's. Maybe is that Bugs Bunny?
Tweety.
Oh, that's true.
Granny. Oh, she just speaks
She
like a
doesn't talk.
granny. She speaks sometimes.
There's a random dog in there that I don't. There were some characters in the Looney Tunes squad, the Avengers of the Looney Tunes, that came together to defeat the aliens.
Danny DeVito. Does that make Danny DeVito the Thanos of Looney Tunes?
Yeah, he's Thanos. And then if I knew any of the other baddies, that'd be them.
Yeah. Yep.
I
It's
think
mainly
that makes
Thanos.
Bugs Bunny Captain America.
It does. Or does it make him Nick Fury?
Lola Bunny is Scarlett Johansson.
Obviously.
Because there's one girl.
Is it problematic if I say Michael
Yes.
Jordan? Okay. Is Nick Fury. Another note I've written, which I don't know now, says Mrs. Raymond. Does anybody know who Mrs. Raymond is?
In the first basketball game they go to, when they're stealing the powers of Charles Barkley, they're aliens that somehow operate this trench coat, sit next to Patricia Heaton, who was Ray Romano's wife in Everybody Loves Raymond.
Who then sits next to Homer Simpson.
Yeah, pretty much.
The little aliens are about the size of your hand.
Yeah. So
How do 5 of them make a human that's taller than Dan Castanella?
And then I think what it is there's 3 of them that are okay. I think I'm going to imagine it's some sort of Power Ranger Megazord thing. That one operates one leg, one operates one arm.
Oh, you think they've got like crutches and stilts?
Yeah.
I used to be scared of stilt walkers.
That doesn't surprise me.
I don't know why.
Did you go to the circus once and they freaked you out?
One stood
Was
on
it because
me.
of Return to Oz and they look like wheelies?
I don't remember any moment that made me scared of stilt walkers, but I do remember, I think it must have been one Moomba
Well, there you go.
outside the art centre. There were stilt walkers outside the State Theatre. There were stilt walkers and I cried.
I think I remember this.
Yeah, I think it was Moomba 2021.
It was Dan Andrews on his stilts. That's how he broke his back.
Oh.
So then,
Mrs. Raymond.
And then she says, Bob. I don't think she even says his name because they're credited as female
No, there's no names.
male spectator.
Yeah, it's just like, I told you to get the better tickets.
And it's like, darling, this man's doing something weird under his trench coat.
Yeah.
So that's a joke for the parents, that one, I think.
That is a joke for the parents. She would be straight onto security now.
Yes.
Karen.
Bill Murray.
Yes.
I don't really understand why he's in the movie. Like, why does it need to
I
be
was
a
going
Bill
to say
Murray?
I was going to say comic relief, but then there's the entire Looney
There's
Tunes
Looney
cast.
Tunes. Is it
Hang
for
on.
parents?
Are they Looney Tunes or Looney Tunes?
Well, it's spelled tunes.
Is it? Because I always thought the
Tunes. Looney Tunes. Oh, because they're
I
cartoons.
always thought the Looney Tunes
It's
was
tunes 'cause
them,
they're cartoons.
but the
Looney Tunes.
Tunes. So Looney Tunes is an American animated, from Wikipedia, comedy short film series produced by Warner Brothers from 30 to 69, along with the accompanying series Merry Melodies during the golden age of American animation. So I always thought the Looney Tunes were the ones they did
Where Bugs Bunny is conducting
where
an orchestra.
Bugs Bunny's playing the piano and Barbara of Seville shaving Elmer Fudd's head. I think that's the Looney Tunes.
Oh, and then Looney Tunes because they're cartoons.
Yeah, and then I think the Looney Tunes is another thing.
Well, are they Toon Squad or Tune Squad in the movie? The basketball
no,
team.
do you know that's it? Looney Tunes.
So they're Tune Squad.
It's the Looney Tunes. I don't think they really had their own thing separate to the music-y things.
That melodies. Oh.
I think Merry Melodies are the ones we're thinking of where Bugs is the conductor.
Yeah.
And then Looney Tunes is little, almost silent filmy kind of the tune is going. And Fantasia-y style.
Because they don't, like Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner don't speak.
No. I should have done some research.
Unless you count meep, meep as meep, meep. That's better.
Yeah. Isolate that. Have that in our sound pad that's coming.
Because I don't know if we need Bill Murray. He did have some funny lines, like when the thing, and then Michael Jordan, I nearly said Jackson again, MJ, I'll just say MJ, gets whooped down the golf hole by Bugs Bunny.
Yep. Not by Rodney Dangerfield. It's not a crossover.
Not a Caddyshack crossover. Which Bill Murray is in. And then...
Which is why I was going to say Groundhog Day.
Him
but
and
that's
Larry Bird.
a different little thing coming out of a hole.
Him and Larry Bird and Newman are just standing there like, WTF. And what's in the camera?
And then he points the camera.
Don't point that camera at me. And then later on, it's like, I'm just going to mark that down as a 2. We weren't in an emotional state to part.
Yep.
I'm like, okay, that's funny as an adult.
Kids,
no.
They're the jokes. I think there's layers to the film. I don't think they quite...
There's space, Earth, and then
space, and then Tuneland. I don't think they did the layers quite as well as the later Pixar movies do. I think it felt... You know how when you make a cake... So Mum at the cafe makes jelly slice, right? And sometimes the cheesecakey bit is perfect and the jelly is perfect and there's a line separating them.
Yeah.
And sometimes they seep together.
Okay.
I think in the Toy Story, they all seep together, which is a good thing.
Okay, yeah.
But in Space Jam, it's like, okay, Bill Murray is the joke with clever adults. Bugs Bunny is the funny thing. This is the slapstick.
Yeah.
Patricia Heaton makes the wanking joke.
Yeah.
It's very leveled.
Yeah. But it's also not... They didn't... The people who wrote this movie didn't go in going, we're going to write
a wanking joke for
really,
Patricia Heaton.
like, good, strong animated movie like a Toy Story. This is a movie where the number one billed actor, in quotation marks, is a basketball player, and this second number billed person is an animated rabbit. Let's not take ourselves too seriously here.
But it's an animated rabbit, but it's not Mel Blanc.
It's not. It's not. But it's weird because certain times you were like, haha, and then other times I'm like, that's not Bugs Bunny.
It's not Bugs Bunny. Great, though.
Still very good.
So the monsters turn nasty when they're challenging. So, skipping ahead.
Yeah.
They kidnap Michael Jordan.
Correct.
Down, convince him to play basketball by kissing him on the mouth.
Well, no, they didn't. And then the only way they convinced him was that then the aliens
Monstars
come
got
in and
nasty.
just like talk a lot of smack. And then he's like, I'm a competitive son of a bitch. You're on.
Which, if you've seen The Last Dance,
which everybody has.
if The Last Dance was talking about Space Jam, it would go, Monstar says Baldy, then it would cut back to Michael Jordan and he'd say, and I took that personally.
Yeah.
Because that was the theme of The Last Dance.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan takes something personally and then scores 50 points in 1 quarter of basketball.
Michael Jordan takes something personally and you're fucked.
Yep, and then wins 6 championships.
And then raises the betting because he had a gambling problem.
So he did take that personally, and then he gets convinced to join. And then we have the whole thing of the other basketballers on the real world surface losing their talent. Yeah. Basketball Jones, the classic Barry White. It seems like a duet between Barry White and Jones. Salt and Pepper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that whole scene was Charles Barkley walking around an inner city, predominantly black neighborhood.
Yep.
With a Barry White song it's almost like to remind people that this is a mid-90s movie with black people in it.
Yeah,
I'm like, we get it. So he goes and watches these hoodlums play basketball around the corner from the school from Sister Act 2.
Yes.
In that same neighborhood with this weird Basketball Jones song in the background.
So Basketball Jones...
Can we play some of that on the thing?
Yeah, I'm going to stick it in here. So Basketball Jones is a song by Barry White and Chris Rock.
Yes, because he's just like, hey, Mr. Jones, you want to play basketball?
But also, Basketball Jones is a 1973 animated short film based on the Cheech and Chong song.
Oh, problematic.
So Cheech and Chong made a song called Basketball Jones. I'm not going to say that again. And then there was a 1973 animated short film based on the song. And then
Barry White and Chris Rock did a version of it for Space Jam?
Barry White and Chris Rock did a version of it for Space Jam. And then the song features in an episode of The Simpsons because of course it does.
Basketball Jones.
That's
basically the song.
Hang on.
Basketball Jones.
The Blossoms and Michelle Phillips from the Mamas and the Papas performed vocals as cheerleaders on the track Basketball Jones from Space Jam. One of the Mamas and the Papas was a backing singer for Chris Rock in the movie Space Jam.
Oh.
Oh dear.
That was the most... That scene did not fit with the movie.
That whole storyline of them losing their powers and having to try to get it back, and then essentially no one can go to the basketball because everyone's scared they're going to lose the ability to use their limbs.
Yes.
I totally had no idea that was in it. I totally forgot about that.
It's kind of like the start of the story. Like that's the only reason why they had to steal... No. Okay.
Yeah, I totally forgot that there were any other basketballers in it. I thought it was literally someone's threatening the Looney Tunes. They kidnap Michael Jordan. They play basketball. They win the end.
Okay. Yeah.
But instead, there's this whole Basketball Jones. There's this whole acupuncture, going to the crystal ball woman. There's going to the hospital. There's shutting down the stadium. They didn't even shut down stadiums for COVID.
No.
And then that all thing happens, which I totally forgot about. There was an impotence joke in Looney Tunes.
Can't get it up.
Can't remember, but I wrote it down.
Oh, you know what there was a joke of, which wasn't very subtle.
Mm-hmm.
When Bugs, Lola Bunny rocks up.
Yes.
And then Ooga.
Well, also... if someone walked in that you'd never met before that had the same last name as you, would you instantly fall in love with them?
No, I would think there's someone related to me, especially when they look a lot like me.
Yeah. But also, she's the only one wearing clothes.
No, I thought that. Why do girls wear clothes and boys don't?
Because you can't have boobs out.
Because that would be too sexual.
Yeah.
Then she, whatever, she says, don't call me doll. Then she goes, I'm the only person in Toonland that can play basketball, but you don't want me on your team because I'm a girl. And then she does something or like blows a kiss to Bugs or whatever. And then he just goes like stiff as a board.
Oh, yeah.
And then she's like clunk, clunk, clunk on the floor because he's stiff. I'm like, that's bad.
That's the opposite of the impotence joke I wrote down that I can't remember.
I don't know.
So then we get a...
Basketball Jones. Sorry.
I feel sorry for Newman having to look for Michael Jordan after he gets kidnapped, but he's an incredibly hardworking person. He dug that huge hole with one shovel.
With one shovel and with nobody working at that golf club stopping him.
Yeah. Someone gets to that green.
That greenskeeper is like...
He's dug about...
Newman.
He's dug about a ton of dirt out before someone gets to that green. Is like, hey, why isn't there a hole here? It's like, there is a hole, but there's no golf hole.
Yeah.
But why, like, surely there's enough people playing on that course.
The other thing I didn't quite get with the movie was how long is this? Because
1 hour, 28 minutes.
No, but no,
pick up your pen.
No, that's fine. But like, how long is it between Michael Jordan getting kidnapped by Bugs Bunny to the game at the end?
You seem to have this thing about timelines in
because
movies.
At one point there's obviously been various days because he gets kidnapped in the day, and then one night, I don't know if it's the same night, the Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck go and steal his shorts.
Okay, I reckon
Then it's obviously there's an overnight stay.
Yes,
because at one point, Michael Jordan's wife is just like, "Where's your dad?" Like, he's been gone from what I can assume is at least a week.
He's with Dennis Rodman in Vegas.
Yeah, I don't know. Is she just used to him just
used him going to play
off?
one round of golf with Larry Bird that turns into a 5-day bender.
Yeah.
But only Newman cares that he gets back, but only so he can play baseball.
Yeah. It was just with the timeline. I don't know why.
Yes.
I don't know why in a movie...
You have this thing about timelines.
I don't know why in a movie where it's about aliens playing basketball against Michael Jordan and Looney Tunes am I so concerned with the realism of time and the structure of the universe. Like, maybe, Brett, don't dive too deep into some movies.
Yeah. Save that for our podcast. I don't want to like this movie anymore.
Okay.
We're just going to pick out every
this
little
was bad
pothole.
because Michael Jordan can't act. He still got paid a
You already
shitload of
knew
money.
that.
It's an ad. It's a giant ad. No, it was funny.
Mm.
You know, when doing something and Michael Jordan needs to go somewhere.
Oh, Newman comes in
and goes, "Hey, Michael Jordan, make sure you
put on your
wake
Hanes,
up, put your Hanes, have your Wheaties,
get your Nike and your Powerade, and we're off.
Powerade and go get a Big Mac."
Yep.
Like ding, 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 ding. Ka-ching,
And that's
ka-ching, ka-ching.
the guy that's the director, Joe Pitka, being the commercial director.
Going quick, get another thing and we can get another million.
But also just taking the piss out of how many ads Michael's done.
Yeah.
One thing you questioned during... Well, you didn't question. It came up. When they're thinking about a name for the team, Daffy suggests the Ducks.
Oh, yes.
And Bug goes, "Oh, what kind of Mickey Mouse organisation would name their team the Ducks?" That's a jab at Disney.
At Disney and
the Mighty Ducks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't think
Daffy.
you got that at the time.
I didn't. But it's like,
Okay.
I was like, because it's like, it would have been funny if Mickey Mouse Corporation is like a slang term for like second-rate 2-bit.
It is.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, what kind of Mickey Mouse organisation is this? It's not serious. It's half-assed. It's...
Oh.
Yeah.
I think the Mickey Mouse organization's done pretty well for itself.
Yeah. It's a saying though.
Really?
You're right, it doesn't make sense.
I've never heard of it before.
Poor Daffy. But that's the joke. That's the joke of Daffy. He's the second.
Yeah.
And he's always trying to be above.
He's the Scottie Pippen of the Tune Squad.
He's the Scottie Pippen of the Toon Squad. And speaking of speech pathology, Daffy lisps on words that doesn't even have an S sound in it. Like he just lisps in every possible word.
Oh.
If you watch it again...
That's true.
He just throws a lisp in on like the word today.
Today.
I'm not a speech pathologist, and we may have one listening, but if you had that kind of lisp, you wouldn't lisp in the word today.
No.
It's the sibilants that you would...
Sibilants?
That's my little bit of linguistic knowledge.
Spit shine.
Here's a question, maybe a question for Marvin the Martian, the neutral referee.
Yes.
Is burning Foghorn Leghorn a foul?
Foghorn Leghorn himself is a foul.
Yes.
Fowl.
But apparently, even though there is a referee, there's no rules.
There's no rules. You can turn someone into a giant blimp.
Yes.
You can just shoot a bazooka through someone.
You can set fire to someone.
You can blow them up with Acme Dynamite.
Yep. You can squash them flat.
Yep.
You can just stand on them like they did on Tweety Bird.
Oh, Tweety.
Oh.
And then it's all fun and games until someone hurts Bugs and then, shit's going down now.
Yeah.
It was fine. And then it's Bugs hurts and foul. I'm like, fuck off, Marvin. You don't even need to be here.
At some point, he isn't there. Like, he's that bad of a referee that the Monstars literally throw him out of the stadium and he doesn't call a foul. Man.
Is that Marvin the Martian? Does he talk like that?
Yes.
Good.
Not like that.
But similar too.
In proper traditional cartoon styles, the toon jokes come very quickly. Bang, 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 bang. Like, this guy gets hit, this guy says something, this guy gets hit, this guy's...
Bang, bang, bang.
But as well as the lines are just like bang, 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 bang. So quick. Almost too quick.
Yeah.
Even to like when the two guys with guns, Elmer Fudd, who isn't Porky Pig, and Yosemite Sam did a little Reservoir Dogs thing.
Oh, yeah.
That's just like goes for that long.
Pulp Fiction.
Oh, Pulp Fiction. It just goes for that long.
Yeah.
And like... It's obviously in there for the adults, but you have to be kind of quick to put that together.
Yeah, and
But then they move on to the next joke.
You know what the funny thing is? Was like they started just playing basketball.
Yeah.
I'm like, our normal basketball isn't working. And they're like, hang on a minute, why don't we use some of our crazy Looney Tune antics? Like, you're just thinking of that now?
Well, I guessed from the trailer of New Legacy, it's exactly the same thing.
Porky Pig raps. I saw a trailer of that.
LeBron at halftime literally just says, hey, your tunes, let's use that to our advantage in the second half, and then they win. Sorry, folks, you don't have to go and see a New Legacy.
Spoiler alert.
I haven't seen it. I'm just guessing at it. It's also that kind of movie. You know they're going to win.
You know what I thought? Where was Speedy Gonzalez?
Is he a Looney Tune?
Yeah, sure.
Or is he problematic?
He's Mexican.
Is he? It's not voiced by a Mexican.
He could have been in this if they could hire a Mexican.
Could be.
Because I thought that his ability would be quite useful in a game of basketball.
Underlay.
Reba. Just whoomp shot, whoomp shot, whoomp shot.
Speedy Gonzalez.
Surely he's a Looney Tune.
Yeah. Speedy Gonzalez is an animated cartoon character in the Warner Brothers Looney Tunes and Merry Melodies series of cartoons. His first appearance was in Cattails for Two in 1953 and is a mouse.
Yes, he's a mouse.
Species mouse.
Because I would have said, if I was making a starting five
yes,
of Looney Tunes and Michael Jordan.
Yeah. Michael Jordan, Foghorn Leghorn.
I don't know, he's a bit slow.
He's tall.
Michael Jordan, Bugs Bunny, because you need a bit of leadership.
Because you need also, it's a Looney Tunes movie, you need Bugs Bunny.
Lola Bunny, because she was the only one that could actually play basketball.
Yep, and diversity.
I would have then said Speedy Gonzalez.
Yeah, he could have outrun those Monstars.
Right.
Pretty easily.
And maybe then a Foghorn Leghorn or Tassie Devil's Quick. But he destroyed the place.
He did pop two balls just as his entrance.
Yeah, true.
It's tough. But you've got to have interchanges.
Unless you're a monster.
I would have at least
And you
had
don't get
Speedy
any.
Gonzalez on the bench.
Some of the bench shots were funny. You know, when it's like, oh, God, we're nearly done here, guys. We've only got 4 thing, and then Bill Murray rocks up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's like, Sylvester in a full body cast.
Yeah.
Tweety in an
Yes.
iron lung, which looks hilarious. And then just a roast chicken.
A roast chicken.
Oh, poor
Foghorn Leghorn. A fowl.
Oh, 11 secret herbs and spices.
The only problem with the inclusion of a human into the toon world is Michael Jordan doesn't know who he's looking at.
What?
It's well done, even to the point of Bugs Bunny touching Michael Jordan is good
Yes.
and well animated.
Yeah.
But Michael Jordan always looks just over here
Oh, instead of
looking at
I'm going
someone.
to talk to you.
Or he's either looking just next to the person or at their left shoulder.
Yeah. It was all done by green screen. Like there's photos of the making of Space Jam. And it's just green screen with people in green suits.
Yeah, that's how they do things.
Wow.
Yeah.
But then it was like, so then that shouldn't have been a problem. But I think that's why it probably works better than if you're making it today. I haven't seen it. But if you're making the combination of real life with animated, because it's all computer animated, it can't just be like LeBron looking at a computer.
I think they would still do... They do the tennis ball on the stick thing. Like they did the Nutty Professor,
okay.
maybe.
Maybe, I don't know.
You know that scene in the Nutty Professor, the Eddie Murphy one?
Hercules.
Yeah, where they're all at the dinner table.
Yeah.
It's just Eddie at the head of they shot it with Eddie at the head of the table and 6 tennis balls. Then they shot it Eddie sitting
That is
here
continuity
and 6 tennis
nightmare.
balls. But it's a good movie. Maybe we'll add that on the list.
All right.
There's another moment where he took it personal when they make a deal, for the game. If you win, you get. If you win, you get me.
Yep.
If you lose, the Toons are all free.
And you give them back their powers.
Yes. And then the halftime the end inspirational speech when they run out of Michael's special juice.
Michael's special juice.
From under the trench coat
But Tin Man, you've had a heart all along.
Yes, Michael Jordan said it's been inside you all along.
It's been inside you all along.
My special juice has been inside you all along.
Poor R. Kelly.
And of course, the game ends with a Michael Jordan buzzer beater.
Of the stretchy Toonland,
He also doesn't...
inconsistent stretching of the arm.
I thought he would fly.
because he believes he can fly.
R.
right?
Kelly hinted at that earlier. But also he's Air Jordan. But also at the start of the movie,
I'm going to fly one day.
the little kid flies to the hoop.
Yeah.
I thought he was just going to fly.
Yeah.
But the Morpheus moment happens where
Yes.
Bugs convinces him that, do you think my strength and my speed has anything to do with my muscles in a place like this?
It's all because you're underground in a separate universe with a sky in its own space.
Exactly like the Matrix.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where the Wachowskis got the idea.
I reckon it is.
Yeah.
And then 3 years later, boom, the Matrix.
And then did 2 other movies that are in no way related to that. To Space Jam. They're related to the first Matrix.
Oh, yeah.
Such a violent movie. I love that in cartoons you can be super violent.
Like
That's all
blowing
okay.
people up.
Yeah.
Like the
Roasting
joke,
a chicken.
Roasting a chicken alone is like, oh, far out.
I'm sure some kids went vegan after seeing that.
I know I didn't.
I love roast chicken.
I think the next day I had chicken for lunch.
Probably.
Oh my God, I did. Not in 1996. I meant like this week when we watched it.
Yeah, Sunday after we watched it.
Sunday I had chicken. Yeah.
Brett doesn't remember all the way back to that day in 1996 when he first saw
I think I
Space
got a
Jam.
3-nugget Happy Meal at the...
What was the toy? Probably Space Jam toy.
It was probably Bugs Bunny.
Probably Bugs Bunny.
And it was a boy girl and a boy toy and a girl toy.
Wrapping up,
Yeah,
it's a very good kids movie.
it is.
If you were a kid,
You know what's good about it as well? Because, like, Looney Tunes wasn't big in the 90s.
no.
It wasn't like the 90s thing. But then, obviously, if I'm wait, let me do some maths. If I'm 30 in the 90s, when I was a kid, I would have watched Looney Tunes.
Yes.
And I probably like Michael Jordan, or at least know who he is.
But also, Saturday morning cartoons still show the Looney Tunes.
Yes.
Not Cheese TV.
No.
Was WB World a thing in the 90s? Like Saturday Disney? Or did that come later?
I think that came... maybe
Maybe
a bit
after
later.
Space Jam.
Maybe.
Relaunched the
They
tunes.
pumped up the jam.
Pump up the Space Jam.
Pump it up. Don't pump it.
It's a good kids movie.
Then the smart thing as well with doing the remake now is that me at 30 years older than when it first came out,
Yes.
really,
Has kids.
has kids.
You
and
don't
I
have
want to
kids.
see Space Jam 2.
Yeah.
So
You-
I'm going to take my kids, even though they probably don't know what Looney Tunes is either.
And even though you don't have kids
And I don't even like LeBron.
or kids.
No. I went on the weekend after we watched Space Jam. Then it was like, had a day with one of the nieces
And you had your chicken for lunch.
and my chicken because she didn't want to eat the
Foghorn
rest of her
Leghorn.
chicken. I went to the Disney exhibition because I wanted to go to the Disney exhibition that's on at Acme.
Yes.
And I was like, I'm not going to go by myself as a 30-year-old man. So I hijacked my niece and we went to the Disney exhibition. But then while I was there, I was like, I kind of wish I didn't have a kid here because I could just watch it myself. Because
I don't think you picked the best age of kid to take.
I
If
know.
you'd taken the 8-year-old nieces, there would have been 3 of them, which would have been more of a challenge.
Yeah.
But if you'd taken one of the 8-year-old nieces, it would have been better than taking the one 3-year-old niece.
half of the thing was frozen.
Okay.
So it was like, we got there. It was like, where are we going? Oh, there's Mickey Mouse. Oh, and then we walked down. As soon as you walk down the stairs, there's a screen that's showing different bits of Disney things.
Yep.
And we're like, who's that? She's like, Elsa. I'm like, okay, maybe she will like this. Okay, we're okay.
Oh, yeah. As long as Elsa's there, it'll be liked. But well done, Michael Jordan. Well done, Joe Petka. Joe Petka?
There were some weird directional choices. Like, it was some things where it was just like camera zoom, like right really close on his face.
Is that a cartoony thing, though?
I think so, but then when it's on a human being, it looks really weird.
Yeah, I think the idea is that they're doing the cartoony directing
Yeah.
in real.
It doesn't look as bad as Newman being inflated into a giant balloon. That looks pretty bad. If I was going to critique the CGI, I would critique that and the dog.
Yeah, the dog wasn't
The rest
great.
of it was pretty good.
Yeah. So, well done, Joe Pitka and the Warner Brothers Corporation.
Yeah.
And the
it's
Michael
also
Jordan
just-
Corporation.
It's also just so quintessentially 90s that it is
Yeah.
just, hey, watch a 90s movie, Space Jam.